We're all here today. It's been very clear from the different speakers to really work together towards a sustainable future for the UAE. And the deep respect for nature, which was very much emulated by the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, is something we must really seek to continue as a society. It's actually focused on some of the barriers that we're facing in the country and also in the GCC on the uptake of energy and water efficiency within the private sector, as well as some potential solutions that can be put in place from the government side, but building on Yulis's presentation, what are those practical things that can be put in place straight away from the business sector? Before I begin, I wanted to give you a brief introduction into Emirates Wildlife Society, who we are. We're a local NGO that was established in 2001, so we've been here for just over 15 years. We work in association with the Worldwide Fund for Nature, a leading global conservation organization. And we've really taken on the role and responsibility within the country to work with a number of different partners to actively tackle the sustainability issues we face in the country and raise awareness and build capacity amongst the community and different sectors of the society on what are those practical things that can be put in place to tackle the issues that we're facing. Emirates Wildlife Society is a non-profit organization, as I mentioned, but also a civil society organization, and we have that role to play in supporting the country's national agenda and leading towards the Vision 2021. Now, as an environmental NGO, we promote sustainable development, and our role is really not to hinder any economic or social growth that continues within the country, but just to ensure that sustainability is put in decision-making, both at a short-term and also long-term mindset. And alongside our mission, with our partners over the last 15 years, we work on a number of different areas, climate change and energy being one of them, biodiversity conservation, both from a terrestrial and a marine standpoint, controlling wildlife trade, and last but not least, environmental education and outreach, which is really one of the main purposes of this conference today, to raise awareness about how we can put in place sustainability within our own lifestyles, how we can embed it within our businesses and within the government, and how we can share research and learnings and knowledge with one another. On the important note of climate change, before I go into the details of my presentation and the studies that we've recently conducted as an organization, I wanted to touch upon some of the facts that we know about climate change, specifically within the UAE, and why it's so important for us to look at this issue and tackle it together. So at a local level, the UAE's emissions have actually increased by around 5% per year, and this is from 1994 to 2013. We also know that locally we're consuming 5 times greater the world average compared to any other country. The result of this, of course, results in a range of climate-specific impacts across different sectors within the country. And this includes an increase in land temperature by up to 2 to 3 degrees, an increase in humidity by 10%, and an increase in salinity across the Gulf that we're starting to face at the moment, which will only continue to impact our lifestyles and the economy within the country. Consequently, this also leads to an increase in the demand for cooling and the demand for desalination that we are putting in place within the country. So we do need to factor this into our integrated planning and strategies. And as part of our climate change and energy program within the organization, our main vision is to work with different sectors of society to really tackle climate change, reduce carbon dioxide emissions, and we do this by ensuring that climate change is a priority in the country. So we've done a number of different research activities looking at, again, the impacts of climate change across different sectors. We also do this by putting in place a further emphasis on increased renewable energy and putting in place initiatives to ensure that energy efficiency is a key topic. So energy efficiency and the urgent need to scale up this impact. We see energy efficiency as one of the major potential solutions for reducing emissions in the country, but also worldwide. And this is due to the availability across sectors of society as well as across different technologies. And in order to have a strong impact on energy efficiency, it's important that multiple stakeholders are involved, including the private sector. Now, businesses, which is a key topic for me today, the role of businesses is widely recognized, and we personally see that there is an emerging trend where businesses are factoring in sustainability within their core agenda. And as an organization, we've done some work in the past with the private sector, specifically on research and development, in an aim to involve them in the research specifically to understand what those barriers are that they're facing with regards to this topic.